Hey there, fellow hungry travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're here in San Antonio, Texas on the Riverwalk. And today we're going to talk about some of the things you should eat when you come here to San Antonio. Because if you didn't know this, UNESCO has named San Antonio one of the creative cities of gastronomy in the world. That means the food here is excellent and they're super creative and it's super amazing. So if you're going to come to San Antonio, it's not just for conferences and Spurs games. It's to eat until you explode because the food's so good. And one of the things that really puffs you up when you come here are puffy tacos. Now, if you're used to having tacos, you know there's hard shell tacos and soft shell tacos, but if you had a puffy taco, and how they make these puffy tacos is you take the masa that they use to make the tortilla and you shape the tortilla, but you don't cook it on a flat top. What they do is they throw it in the fryer and it fries up and it puffs up. Oh, and it looks like a little ball, and then it kind of comes down a bit, and they put the toppings inside like normal tacos. You can have lots of different stuff in there, but oh my gosh, they are so good. When you're here, you've got to have them. Though I will tell you, they don't have them in all the Tex-Mex and all the Mexican restaurants here. It's only in certain places they have it. Henry's and Ray's Drive-In are the two most popular ones for the puffy tacos, but if you see it anywhere, you gotta grab them because they're fantastic, okay? Now, one thing I have to tell you is there's a lot of Mexican restaurants, Tex-Mex restaurants around San Antonio. Even if you're here on the Riverwalk, you'll see tons of restaurants along the way. And one thing you don't have to worry about is getting bad Mexican food or bad Tex-Mex food when you're here in San Antonio, because no one's gonna go to a bad place here, okay? So they don't survive, so that's really good. So go and try Tex-Mex when you're here. A lot of different kind of things, whether you're going for enchiladas or you're going to go for, you know, like I said, the puffy tacos, or maybe you're going to go for the tamales or whatever. You're going to have so many options. You know, I had a chile relleno the other day, which was to die for, okay? So you're going to have that. But one of the kind of Mexican dishes I really want you to have when you're here, and it's especially a popular like breakfast item, is chilaquiles. And chilaquiles, basically, a layman term would be, yeah, it's breakfast nachos, but that's not what it is, okay? Basically what it is, you take tortillas or tortilla chips, you break them up, and you cook them in a sauce, like whether like a red sauce or a green sauce, or red salsa and green salsa. You cook that up, put cheese and egg with it. Oh my God. It's so good. And then if you get it like as a plate, they'll have rice and beans with it, or and then some meat on the side. I did this morning with some porco on the side, some pork on the side. Oh, it was so good. But chilaquiles is a fantastic breakfast option, but it's so popular that a lot of places will serve it during the day. So have some chilaquiles when you're here. Now, another Mexican staple you'll find here that you really have to have is pozole. And pozole is basically a hominy stew soup. My wife makes it all the time, and it's got different meats in there, chilies, you know, all kinds of like veg kind of stuff, onions and garlic. It's a really flavorful soup you'll have, but it's really fortifying. And if you're here in the summer, I don't really recommend it in the summer because it's a hot, hearty food. Like, look, I'm sweating here. It's early September, so I'm not having pozole on this visit, but when I come in December or January, I'm definitely having that when I'm here because, oh man, the hominy and everything in it just, ooh, it's so good. Now, another thing I want to talk about is don't pass up getting breakfast tacos when you're here in San Antonio, and they can be from anywhere. Your taqueria might have breakfast. They might be open earlier, so they might have it there. Or one of the gas stations might actually have breakfast tacos that are fantastic. And when you're getting breakfast tacos, yes, there might be eggs and bacon in it, or there might be other stuff as well. So get those. You will not be disappointed, okay? Now, I've talked a lot about Mexican and Tex-Mex food here in San Antonio, but there's a lot more. I mean, you don't get to be a city of gastronomy, right, unless you have a lot of stuff going on. And there's one dish, not really a dish, one snack food I think is fun. If you're here during Fiesta, which is the big festival here in San Antonio, you'll see chicken on a stick. And basically it's a fried piece of chicken on a skewer with a pickled jalapeno on top. The thing is, it's not like a bone-in chicken, it's like a chicken patty almost, or like a chicken breast kind of thing there. Oh my God, they fry it so well. It's so good, and the juice that comes out of the jalapeno kind of gets on it, and you're like, why is that there? Then you eat it, you're like, oh, now I understand. You're kind of nibbling on both of them. That's a really nice thing to do. But the thing is if you're here outside of Fiesta, you don't find it very often, but if you do, it'll be like on an appetizer, on the appetizer menu, so you can find it there. Now, since we are in Texas, we have to talk about some of the really Texas-y foods you're gonna have when you're here. Yes, chicken fried steak is a thing here as well. You will have that. If you're not sure what chicken fried steak is, it's steak, it's beaten and then battered and then fried, and it's phenomenal. You'll have that with mashed potatoes and a white gravy. Oh, that is another fortifying food when you're here. And what you notice is San Antonio has a lot of really great restaurants. There's a lot of great steakhouses, so you can get that Texas steak when you're here, you can get that. You'll see seafood places around here. Heck, you'll see German restaurants all around this area, which is great because you have the hill country just north of here, and there's a lot, like Fredericksburg, and you have all kinds of German restaurants. But here, right on the Riverwalk, there's multiple German restaurants you can go and have the German sausages and schnitzels and things. You know, schnitzel, the chicken fried steak's cousin from Germany, right? He's from out of town. Let's eat him too. And if you really need something really Texasy, yes, there are Whataburgers all around if you don't want to spend a lot of money when you're eating. And I think that's another thing that's important to notice. When you are eating here in San Antonio, if you're going to go to the nicer restaurants, you do pay a nicer, higher price. But since there's so many conferences that come through San Antonio and a lot of tourists that come through, there's actually a wide range of prices for you to eat. Also, there's a wide range of selection of types of food. So if you want the traditional touristy fare of Whataburger, Big Red, and Rainforest Cafe and Hard Rock Cafe, they have that as well. So if you get the Tex-Mex or Mexican food burnout, which some tourists do when they come here, you have plenty of options. Now, another thing is when you're going around San Antonio, it's not just here in the Riverwalk, it's not just downtown. There's actually a lot of neighborhoods you can go to and visit, and some of them have really good restaurants. You know, if you go to King William's District, the historic one, it has lots of great architecture, but not a ton of really good restaurants. If you want to get good restaurants, you're going to the Pearl District, to the Pearl neighborhood, and you're going to eat there where there's a lot of really good and a lot of higher end restaurants, and you can have that. But one thing I'll say is if you're going around town and you see a padaria, a bakery, go into the bakery and get pan dulce, the sweet breads that are there. Oh my God, they are so good. And what's great is you can get them, and a lot of times they'll have them wrapped up. So if you're going home tomorrow or the next day, you can buy some, take it home, and enjoy it with your family. Or like me, enjoy it back at the hotel. Because, I bought some myself. Now, if you're looking to go out when you are here, like I said, the Riverwalk's got all kinds of bars and restaurants on it, but also you'll see these places called ice houses, which basically look like an old gas station that someone just kind of turned into a bar. And yes, you go there and you have your cans of beer with your buddies. It's always a good time. But I think the most important adult beverage here in San Antonio is the margarita, okay? Margaritas are everywhere, all over the place, and the locals love them, and so you have lots of different variety of margaritas as well. It's just not the one standard margarita. You can get a lot of different flavors, a lot of different strengths as well, let's say, and that can be a really fun time. I mean, be responsible, obviously, but it's really nice to have a variety of margaritas you can try and enjoy when you're here. And they go really well with those puffy tacos, chicken on a stick, pretty much anything you eat here, okay? And of course, you know, with the chips and queso, because, you know, that's how we roll here in Texas. Another thing to mention when we're talking about adult beverages is the hill country is only an hour or so north of here, and that's where a lot of Texas wineries are. So you actually do have Texas wine you can get when you're here, and you can actually do wine tours based out of San Antonio to go and try some of the wines, and so that could be a nice culinary treat as well. And that's just the thing, it's not just the wine tours you can go on, there's also a lot of culinary trails you can do. So you can do food tours when you're here, you can do food classes to figure out how to make some of the fantastic food when you're here in San Antonio, because you really start to see why it's UNESCO Creative City of Gastronomy, with not just the food you eat, but you see the creative nature of that food and how you can learn it as well. So I hope this helps you know what to eat when you come here to San Antonio. What's your favorite place to eat, or where's your favorite place to eat here in San Antonio? But what's your favorite thing to eat when you come to San Antonio? Put in the comments section below so we can have other travelers eat well when they're here. Bye from here in San Antonio.